Hello, welcome again to AirJobBoss. I am the AirJobBoss, and you are tuned to AirJobBoss TV. Today is a continuation of our interview question and answer series, and we'll get right into it. Today, the question is, tell me about a time your crew had a conflict with ground personnel. Now, conflicts, they like to work, whenever you hear the word conflict, the core competency that they're looking for is conflict resolution. How do you go about solving conflicts in the cockpit, in the workplace, etc.? Pardon me. Okay, now, the most important thing about the conflict is that you are calm about conflict resolution with somebody else, and they like to use the word conflict, and conflict is a very divisive word, inflammatory word, and it invokes emotion. So you want to depressurize this, and you could reset your mind and think about it as, tell me about a time you had a difference of opinion with ground personnel, or tell me about a time when you didn't see a certain process the same as the ground personnel did it. The answer is in your technical manuals. The answer to the correct processes are in the manual. So if somebody is not complying with the manual, if ground crew, for example, isn't using the proper hand signals to marshal you in, it's not a conflict between you and them. It's a conflict between the manual and their processes doing their job. And I would encourage you to frame it in this way. Because pilots are the ones, obviously, that move the aircraft. The aircraft is rarely in danger until it's moving. So the one person that can reduce risk factors is the pilot. So obviously, if the ground crew is not using the proper hand signals to direct you to the gate, I stopped the aircraft and I radioed the station and told them I am getting non-standard hand signals and I do not understand them. I have stopped the aircraft. Could you please communicate with the ground crew and find a personnel that can give me standard hand signals? That was the conflict. The resolution was simply stopping the aircraft and communicating with the person or the controlling agency involved and asking them to comply with the manual. This is best case scenario. So one thing that's very common at airports nowadays is aircraft are actually running into things as they are pulling into the gate because vehicles are moving around, or items, baggage handling equipment or catering equipment or lab service equipment is parked within close proximity of where the aircraft is going to park. So now many airlines have a line drawn around the actual parking space, and if any little item is inside that parking space, the flight crew is instructed to stop and to contact the ground personnel and have those items removed till they're outside those boundaries and it's deemed safe for entry, and then proceed in. Yeah. If they're proceeding in and someone comes in the safety area, they are to stop the airplane immediately and try to get that removed, or shut down the aircraft, contact operations, and get the airplane towed in to the remaining distance so that the aircraft is not under its own power with its engines operating. It is under the power of a tug driver who might have other personnel as well, and you get a lot more people involved in the process to move forward. So this is another great scenario where ground crew fails, because an airplane pulls away and leaves, and all the baggage material, people are running around, they're parking these baggage handling and aircraft equipment handling equipment in the parking space, and sometimes it doesn't get removed in time. So that is another conflict of policy that you could say I had to stop the airplane, and the marshaller kept winding me in. And they seemed somewhat upset that I took a long time and I was nitpicky about, having them remove all the items. So I called, and I've actually seen this happen. It's actually happened to me, we had a big problem. We were pulling into the gate. There was a bunch of stuff in the way, and we're like, no, it's not safe. We called operations. You're going to have to get everything removed. We had to taxi away, and then we taxied back, and it still wasn't done. And the captain, I was a first officer at the time, the captain pulled halfway in, and he shut the airplane down, which was a very surprising to me, because here we were, no power running. We're halfway in our parking spot. We're in the way of the ramp. Now we're blocking other aircraft, making it very inconvenient for many aircraft around us. And the ground crew came out, hooked up a tug to our airplane, and then walked back in the office and left us there for about 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe discussing things, I don't know, but they came back out, and they finally kind of begrudgingly towed the airplane in, got it out, and we got the boarding bridge, and we had the passengers to plane. At which time the captain said, please send the crew chief to the cockpit. And I thought, oh boy, this captain is going to blow his stack at these people. I mean, these people left us hanging, was inconveniencing everyone, trying to make some sort of point like we were too picky or uptight about all the little things that were just over the line. Maybe they weren't over the line enough for them to be concerned, but over the line is over the line. And I thought, okay, I'm going to watch this. I've got to see this. The chief came up and said, and you could tell there was a little bit of tension on the chief, because his people kind of, you know, felt that they were right, and the chief's like, what can I do for you, Captain? And the captain brought out a printout of the company policy. He had actually had this problem before, so much so that he decided he was going to print out the policy. And he simply turned to the chief and said, Chief, I want to just go over something that we were handed down so you and your personnel better understand what's going on. I'm going to read this to you. Any time that the safety area is infringed by any equipment whatsoever, including personnel, baggage equipment, aircraft handling equipment, the captain must stop the aircraft immediately, shut down both engines, and request towing. And he handed it to the crew chief, and the crew chief said, you know what, you're absolutely right, Captain. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much for the advice. I'll let everybody know. And that was the end of it. The point being that he was very calm, and he had the documentation, and the conflict, the so-called conflict, was not a conflict between the captain and the ground crew. It was a conflict between the written safety policy, and the crew's actions. Simply put, it's nothing personal. Some people don't know what's proper, and it takes time to instruct them. All the time we're having new people come on board, being hired, and in the training process, same thing with your FO, flight attendants and gate personnel, ground personnel, all the same. It's not that you're having a conflict with a person. The documentation is having a conflict with the action. And those things can now come together if they have a responsible captain that this company truly, truly needs and really wants to hire. So explain it in this manner. Now, I will tell you, at AirJobBoss.com, you will not go to an interview after consulting me and make an error answering this question. You will get 100%, and they will say, we want to hire this person. This is the type of person not only that we need to hire, but we need to make him a captain and possibly put him in a safety position at this company. Yeah? That's the result you want on an interview. You don't go into an interview to simply pass the interview. You go into that interview and you do well on it. That's what my company prepares you to do. So if you have more questions, of course, subscribe to this channel, like it, comment, please, if you think I'm wrong or you have improvements, but contact me at airjobboss.com, or you can email me at info@airjobboss.com and ask me any question whatsoever. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next video.